Hello everyone, welcome to Red 5 standing by, and I just got back from The Last Jedi, my screening that I saw tonight, and this is the video, like I said in the series of videos for this movie, was, it's my initial reaction. It's going to be very, raw and uncut, not as rehearsed as my other videos, obviously, and I do apologize. I did say I was going to get a speculation video up on Monday, but life happens, and if you follow me on social media, you'll understand why I wasn't able to get a video up on speculating. Coming out of this film, The Last Jedi, I came out satisfied. I didn't love it like I did The Force Awakens. I mean, it's kind of hard to compare the hype that the Force Awakens got. I'll never have that experience ever again, and that might have had to do something with this film not living up to what I had envisioned in my head. It's not like I didn't like it at all. I really enjoyed this film, and I came out satisfied. I have this feeling that I have to see it again to really just appreciate it, because there are things in this movie that I absolutely loved, and I love the new direction they were going and the risk they were taking with the story. But then there were other things that it's like it could have done without just that, and I'll get into that in a second. But right off the bat, I have to say this is the best I've ever seen Mark Hamill in live action. His performance was just probably the best, I think, in this entire movie. I really connected with Luke Skywalker and what he was going through and where he is as a character at this point in the Star Wars universe is I completely bought, I understood. And his chemistry with Daisy Ridley and his arc with Rey is my favorite in the entire movie. I love where they went with their relationship and how it evolves, and their arc, just out of anything in this movie, their arc was my favorite part about it. And Daisy Ridley, again, she just knocks it out of the park in this one. I mean, both of them together just kill it in this movie. And Daisy Ridley, again, just shows up as Rey and just completely owns this character. And again, their arc and their story, I just wanted to see more of it. I really, really liked what they were doing with those two characters. And then of course there's also Adam Driver, who aside from Daisy Ridley and Mark Hamill, who I think had the best performances in, Adam Driver does it as well. He furthers the character and the struggle that Kylo Ren's going through that we saw in The Force Awakens, and just continues it on in this film. And wow, I mean, the inner turmoil that he's going through in this film, I thought Adam Driver portrays that just magnificently, and I love where they're taking Kylo Ren in this story. And like I said before, I really enjoyed myself in this movie, but there was a couple of things that I had some issues with, and there's this whole storyline with Finn and Rose and their whole like adventure and their whole story and what they're doing. Every time it would cut to Finn and Rose, I was kind of like, all right, can we just go back to Luke and Rey? Because that's really what I want to see. And I just constantly wanted to keep going back to what Rey and Luke and Ren and Leia were doing. And speaking of Leia, Carrie Fisher, it's just, it was just so heartbreaking to see her on screen, because we know we're not going to see her again as this character. And it's just, there's just one particular scene at the very end, not going to spoil it, but there's just one scene that it was written in one way and it just came off a whole different way, and it just breaks your heart when this scene happened. And there was also a couple other things that I couldn't just shake. There's just some of the dialogue in this movie just kind of came off it just didn't work in certain scenes. And it's also, there's more humor in this film too, and sometimes it works really well, but then other times it felt really out of place. And there's just sometimes I wish they were just sort of held back on the humor a bit, because in my opinion, The Force Awakens did it perfectly. It wasn't that people were cracking jokes, just the moments just happened to be humorous. And there were moments in this movie where it did it successfully and did it the way that I liked, than the way that Force Awakens did it, and it really clicked and it worked. But then there were other moments that just kind of felt forced and in your face, and it's ugh, I really wish they would just done it in a different way. And it's the same with the dialogue. There's certain points where it's kind of you could have said that a different way or written it a different way. It was just eh. And again, I'm gonna have to see this movie again, but my initial reactions to this movie is that it's a fine movie. I really liked it, but there's certain things in it that could have been rearranged or taken out, and it would have hit me better. But I think I'm gonna have to see this movie again because I'm kind of on the fence right now because it's like, oh man, there's some moments where I was just like, yes, what they did was fantastic, and there's just back and forth between characters and moments that I was like, yes, what they did there, they took a chance and it nailed it for me. But then there are other moments where it's kind of like, this is definitely a different Star Wars movie. If you're expecting to go see something like The Force Awakens or Rogue One, you're not gonna get this movie. This movie is so different in its approach to the lore. And I think if you're expecting to see one thing like you got in The Force Awakens, you're gonna be let down. I'm gonna say that much. So those are my initial thoughts on this movie. Again, I'm gonna see this movie again. I will get my full review up, and see if my opinion on this movie changed. But for right now, I'm kind of like, I'm satisfied with this movie. Please, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and please do subscribe. There's going to be more Star Wars videos to come. Full review is coming up. Spoiler discussion is coming up. So again, subscribe so you don't miss out on that. And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.